This is the Eclectic Jukebox.
Wandsworth Prison, of course, is one of the largest prisons in the UK, and it's currently able to hold 1,877 prisoners. That means alongside Liverpool, which is of a similar size, it's one of the largest prisons in Western Europe, and we have it in Wandsworth here. The prison was built in 1851, and all the residential areas remain inside the original buildings. It hasn't changed much since 1851. Since 1989, however, there's been extensive refurbishment and modernisation, including in-cell sanitation, privacy screens for cells that are occupied by more than one prisoner, and more recent installation of in-cell electricity. Now get your head around that. That's 1989. They installed in-cell sanitation. That's a toilet, folks. There's a toilet. In-cell sanitation. So 1989 was the first time they actually had a toilet inside a cell. And even more recently than that, in-cell electricity. I don't know what they used to do up until they had that, but gas pipes and candles, probably. The prison cell block is laid out like a cartwheel, if you imagine a cartwheel on its side, with a central circular communal area, and all the cell blocks then radiating off like the wheels, like the spokes of that wheel. There are 4 levels of cells. Each one of them at one end looks over this central area. Notable Wandsworthians, as I'm calling them, include Bruce Reynolds, who was one of the Great Drain robbers. He was the guy who organised that. He was there in the junior offenders wing in 1952. Charles Bronson, who is one of Britain's most violent prisoners, was there in 1976. Charles Bronson is interesting, of course, because although he's never actually killed anybody, he spent probably 3/4 of his life behind bars, because he is notorious for being the most violent criminal in the prison system at the moment. Charles Hume, remember him? In 2013, the former Energy Secretary was jailed in Wandsworth for perverting the course of justice in relation to swapping a fixed penalty points from his car with his wife. Other notable Wandsworthians include Max Clifford, the former publicist, was there in 2014. Oscar Wilde, Pete Doherty, Rolf Harris and Gary Glisser have all taken residence in Wandsworth, as has Ronnie Cray. Now, Ronnie Cray, of course, the East End gangster and club owner, was in Wandsworth in 1956. And Ronnie Biggs, another one of the great train robbers, was there in 1965, but not for very long, as he decided that he didn't like it, and then just decided, well, that's enough. I'm gonna nip over the water and go to Brazil for a few years. So Ronnie Biggs escaped from Wandsworth Prison in 1965. Ronnie Biggs is quite interesting as well, I think, because everybody assumes that because he's really well known, that he must have been some sort of criminal mastermind. Actually, he was totally inept. He only had one job to do on the Great Train Robbery, and that was to find somebody who could drive a train. And he took a full share of the proceeds for that, and he found somebody without any trouble at all, but unfortunately the person he chose could not drive a train. I mean, how stupid can you be? Also noteworthy in Wandsworth is that Derek Bentley was executed in Wandsworth Prison in 1953 for his part in the murder of a police officer. This is notable, of course, because even today there's a lot of controversy about whether he should have been hanged or not, since it wasn't actually him who pulled the trigger. John George Haig, the acid bath murderer, was hanged there in 1949. There's no controversy about his execution, however. Everybody agrees that he deserved that. In popular culture, the prison has been featured in the films Let Him Have It, which was about Derek Bentley, of course, and A Clockwork Orange. I didn't know that. It's also been mentioned in the songs Let Him Dangle by Elvis Costello, Shot Music by Devlin, Truth Rest Your Head by Genie, The Battle of Epping Forest by Genesis, Switch by Censor, and one of my favourite songs from the 1970s, of course, also decided that we'd have a mention of Wandsworth Prison. That's this one. This is from 1979. It's Squeeze. Listen out for Wandsworth Prison.
This is the Eclectic Jukebox.